Right. So today's our topic is fourth module, that is operations. How you can do different kinds of mathematical or statistical operations. How you can use functions and formulas inside the Excel. And this is the most important topic in this complete course because uh, 80 to 90% of the people will use Excel only for the sake of using functions and formulas. The major purpose of usage of Excel is functions and formulas. That's why it's the base requirement and it's the most important out of this complete course. So please pay attention and listen to me carefully. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Anyways, we are not going to discuss so much advanced formulas here. I am going to show you up all basic functions and formulas, then one or two advanced formulas, and I'll show you how to use any kind of formula in Excel without the help of remembering something, remembering function name or formula name, like that. Okay, so first here we are going to work on student budget. So just give me a second. Here we are going to look of student budget. So if I want to get the total of January expenses, here we mention like gym membership, cell phone and gas, let's say. Okay, then I want the total of all these three. Basically, if you have a calculator, how do you calculate? Equal to 10. So instead of writing the 10, what I'll do is I'll select that particular cell B4, then plus, instead of writing 100, I will select that particular cell, that is B5, then plus 40 means I will select that B6. So B4 plus B5 plus B6. If you click on enter, you will get the total. So what is the expenses for the month of January for me? 150. But now you may ask me, sir, I can do it in calculator as well, but why Excel? Why Excel? Then, as we have already learned the technique of autofilling in Excel, here you have derived one formula, that is B4 plus B5 plus B6, and you know about autofilling. So if you can see this tiny arrow at the corner, just hold down that tiny arrow, then drag it till the end. Boom, we got all the totals for each row. For first column, when we calculated for January, it is pretty much like we are using a calculator. But if you see all these things, you have just written one formula, but with the help of one formula, you fill up all 12 formulas. Is it going to save your time for your calculations? But
Yes, sir.
yes. Now observe
Yes,
carefully because I want to explain you one very important term over here. What is the formula we have written? B4 plus B5 plus B6, right? But when you come here, see the formula. This is not what we have written. We have written B4, B5, B6. But here it automatically changed to C4, C5, C6. And D4, D5, D6. So each cell, the formula has been automatically changed. We call it as relative reference. In Excel, we are going to see about two kinds of references. That is, first, what is meant by reference here? Reference is simply, instead of here using here 10 plus 100 plus 40, instead of 10, I am using cell reference number B4 and B5, B6, because whatever is there in that particular cell, automatically it will be taken. Instead of writing a number, we will use the reference, we will use the name of that particular cell. That will be called as reference. So if I write here 20, automatically total is changing, because it will take the value whatever is there inside the cell. So that we will call it as a reference. But when you move your formula towards right or down or anyways, and if that formula is automatically changing according to the movement of your cursor or according to your movement, if that formula is changing, we will call it as relative reference. What we will call? We will call it as relative reference. It means the reference will automatically change according to your movement. Relatively, it will change relatively. According to your movement means here I can say relatively. Okay. So that is a relative reference. Now, all of a sudden, so what is the GST rate on services? Let's say 18%. Okay. So what is the tax rate? 18%. So I'll write here tax rate. What is the tax rate? 18%. So now I want to find out GST on each and every service. How to get it? Simply equal to any formula or function, it has to begin with equal to sign. Any formula or function, it has to begin with equal to sign. So that's the thumb rule for all operations. Okay, it has to begin with equal to sign. So now we want to calculate the GST. How we will calculate normally this 160? So now we know how to use references. Instead of writing 160, now we are using B8 into, instead of using B12, we will select that particular cell. Instead of writing 18%, we will write B12 or select that particular cell. Then click enter. So this is what my GST is. Now, can I do the same thing? Can I copy it to till the December to get the GST rates? Can I do the same thing? Guys, you can unmute and you can answer. So, top what we have done, B4 plus B5 plus B6, and when we dragged into till the last cell. Here we multiplied this value by 18%, that is B12. So we will see what will happen if I do it, if I drag it in the same way. I'll just hold down this one. And drag it till the end. What happened? Why I am not getting the taxes here? Why I am not getting the tax here?
We mentioned tax rate only for Jan month.
Yes, because this formula what it will do, B8 into B12. If we move towards right, it will take C8 into C12. But in C12 nothing is there. D12 nothing is there. Nothing is there means 0. So this value into 0 equal to 0. Right? So that's the reason we are not getting any values. But the next question comes, I don't want to write this 18% in all the cells, because it is equal for everything. It's equal for everything. I don't want to write it here again and again. I want to keep it only in this cell, but I want the tax here in each cell according to percentage. I want the values in this cell. So then what should be the case? Whenever we are moving towards right or anywhere, this B8 can become C8 or D8 because we have the values here. But this B12 should not change. Always it should multiply with the B12 because we have the value tax rate only in B12, right? So in those kind of cases, what we will do is we will keep dollar signs before B and before 12. So it means if we keep the dollar sign, we are freezing it. It will not move relatively whenever we are copying the formula towards right or left or down or wherever. So how to keep the dollar signs? Either you can hold down shift key and number 4 will contain dollar sign. You can keep it like this manually, or otherwise place your cursor inside B12 anywhere, here or here, anywhere. And if you are using laptop, function along with function key, if you are using system directly, click on function F4. F4 button will be there at the top. So if you click on F4, automatically dollar signs will be inserted before B and before 12.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
we are not able to see the screen. Are you sharing the screen?
Yes.
Students, are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I think
Yeah, once
Yes,
log
ma'am.
out and log in, ma'am. Better. Okay, this is how we can insert dollar signs for B12. Then click OK. Now try to drag it. Drag it in the sense you need not to drag it always. You can even do copy pasting. Control C, and for pasting here you can use Control V. Anyways you can follow. Now are we getting the values, taxes correctly?
Yes, sir.
So this freezing of values, we call it as absolute reference. If some reference has been freezed with dollar signs, we will call this reference as absolute reference. Got it? Now, what is a reference, what is a relative reference, and what is a absolute reference? Have you got the complete details here?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. So there is one more reference. We call it as mixed reference. Nothing but here what we will do, instead of keeping absolute B12 completely, we will keep dollar sign only in B and we won't keep the dollar sign in 12. So in next class, whenever we are using formula, somewhere you will find this situation. There I will explain that one. But for the time being, try to understand the difference between what is a normal reference, that is B4 plus B5 plus B6 like that, and then what is a relative reference. Relative reference means whenever you are copy pasting it to some other place, relatively that formula will change. And absolute means if you freeze that values with using dollar signs, always wherever you go and paste that formula, only that particular cell wherever you have been freezed that one, only that cell will take the values. Okay, that is absolute reference. So now as you understood this relative and absolute reference. So now one guy may ask, either Omeshwar or Tanmay, someone will ask me that, sir, is there any way instead of keeping dollar signs, is there any way that can I use the absolute reference? Yes. Yes. Some other way is there. How to do that? How to do that? I am going to show it here itself directly. I'll just insert one more row. And what we are going to do is, for that one, just select this cell, particular cell, and by now everyone know how to name a cell, right? How to define a name to the particular cell, right? So how we can define a name to this particular cell? Select the cell, then go to name box, and here you write the name whatever you want, that is tax rate. Then click on enter. Then click on enter. So now we define the name to this particular cell. In previous class we used those names to navigate to that particular area easily. But now we are going to use that named cells in different way. We are going to use them in formulas. So how to use that one? Equal to what we did initially, this one, that is B8 into, now instead of writing as a C13 or selecting this cell, what I will do is I will write tax rate. Once you write this, you will get the prompting here. You will get the prompting here. So by clicking the tab button on the keyboard or selecting here, you can select that rate. Okay. So I am writing B8 into tax rate. Click enter. Now if you drag it, I haven't kept any dollars. But are you getting the right values or not? So whatever we got it by using absolute reference, we got the same values here, right? So it means we can use absolute reference by making it as dollar signs, or we can use, instead of freezing it using dollar signs, we can define a name to that particular area, and we can use even named ranges or named cells. Okay, till this point, is that clear? How to use named cells or named ranges. Now we'll just have a glance to our first function in Excel, that is sum function. Here what I did, B4 plus B5 plus B6, manually I have written the values. Here only I have only 3 values, so I can write it like by keeping plus 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 plus. But what if we have 1000 and 10,000 values? Can we do that manually? It's not possible, right? So in that case, Excel is having predefined function. Predefined function. Instead of using formula in a different way, Excel is helping you out with one function. That function is nothing but the name of that function, sum function. So now we are going to have that glance. So now after this we are going to discuss about almost 7 to 8 functions in today's class. But I am just going to give you a sneak peek about first function, that is sum function. So how to calculate the sum of the values. I'll try to calculate the same sum for the same these 3 details, that is B4, B5, B6. So write equal to, as I said, each and every function or formula has to begin with the equal to sign. Then only Excel will understand that you are going to enter a function or formula. You can see like this, without equal to, if you write B4 plus B5 plus B6, is something going to happen? because Excel doesn't understand that you used a function or formula. But if we keep equal to in the starting, observe carefully, Excel calculated the total. So each and every function, if you want to use a function or formula inside the Excel, always make sure that you entered equals to sign before starting anything. Okay, then equal to our first function is sum, and as we say grammar in English or Telugu or whatever, here we will say syntax. Syntax is nothing but grammar of this function. It means how we have to write the function is, first it has to begin with equal to sign, then after that function name. What is the function name? sum, then bracket open. This bracket is there on the number 9, open bracket starting. Okay, bracket open, then select the values whatever you want to submit. So I am selecting all these 3 values. So when you select this one, it is showing you the range, that is B4 to B6. Then close the bracket. That bracket is there on the number 0. So this is the syntax, equal to function name, bracket, or we will call it as parenthesis, but for the timing, for easy understanding, we will say bracket open, then select the range wherever you want to submit, then close bracket. You have to close the bracket, then after that click enter. That's it. You got the total. Now you can drag it. As we haven't nothing freezed here, what will happen? Here sum B4 to B6. So automatically here it will come relative reference. C4 to C6. D4 to D6. Okay? So like this, we can make use of Excel sheet for all our operations. So now we'll slowly move on to learning this kind of functions, 7 to 8 functions in today's class. First one is sum. So till this point, is that clear for everyone? What is the relative reference, absolute reference? Then we can use named ranges within the function or formula instead of using absolute reference. Then we covered our first function, that is sum. Right? Good. Now we will move on to the functions. So 190 people are here. So more 100 people had to join. So no one is joined. Oh, okay. Ma'am, can you able to see the screen now? Sudha ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you ma'am.
I think today students may be less only because of some of them are celebrating it today also, no? So festival.
But I am discussing about the most important topics of the course.
Okay. They will have to learn, sir. They'll learn.
Oh, okay ma'am. Right.
Students, class representatives of different classes, please check and call students. Inform in your groups once. Ask everybody to join. They will send a message in the group, sir.
Okay ma'am, right. Anyways, I am going to place this recording on YouTube as well, so they can watch it afterwards.
Yes, sir, they'll learn with that.
Okay ma'am. So now we are going to learn about the basic functions in Excel. All the functions we are going to learn in today's class are pretty much similar to the sum function. What is the syntax of the sum function we learned? Equal to sum, that word we have to write, and here there is no case sensitive. You can write it in small letters or capital letters, anything is fine. Then bracket open, then select the range wherever you want, then close bracket and click enter. So now we are going to learn all these functions in today's class. That is, again, sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, empty, that is count blank, and then count A as well. Okay, and if time permits, I am going to introduce you if function also. Okay, now we will work with first function, sum function. So as I have already showed you this sum function, how to calculate. I am just doing it here. I'll just zoom it. So I am writing the function, observe carefully again. I can write it in small letters as well, or even I can write mixing. For the sake of functions, it's not case sensitive. Sum, then bracket open. After opening the bracket, what we need to do? We need to select the range. So we want to sum of all these classes. And observe carefully. I selected the range till M6, even though this cell doesn't contain anything. I selected till this M6 because I want to copy it down to all other rows. So because other cells are having values, that's the reason I selected till the end, B6 to M6. Then close bracket and click on enter. That's it. We got the sum. Now we have how many numbers here? Roughly we have 12 to 13 numbers. Is it possible to write equal to plus that one, that B6 plus C6 plus D6 plus E6? Practically it's quite impossible. I mean, it's not that much possible, right? Or otherwise it will take lot of time. So to avoid all those situations, we will use these predefined functions. This is sum. And now we'll try to copy it down because we haven't freezed anything. So relatively it has to change. B6 to M6 means if I copy it down to 2 rows, what we'll see how it is changing. Here it is B7 to M7, B8 to M8, like that. In previous example, what I did, I copied towards right. Now I am copying towards down. Here cell numbers are changing. In previous example, alphabets has been changed. Okay. Now I am just copying it till here. So now I got the all sum of the values, sum of the each row, sum of each class. Okay. Now based on this knowledge, the same syntax follows for average. Same syntax. It means same grammar will be used for average. So can anyone say how to write the average function? Can anyone help me out? You can unmute and you can say it. I will write whatever you say. Yes, most of you know it. So you can unmute and you can say it.
Is equals to average.
Equal to average. Then
Open the bracket.
open bracket.
Open bracket.
Then
The first cell.
so first cell,
Comma.
comma. Okay. You want me to keep comma? Okay.
Drag till last cell.
So no comma, right? select the first cell, but okay, let me go here inside the formula, and I'll select the first cell, and now I will drag it till the last. So here observe one more thing carefully for average sake. So here also I selected the same range, that is B6 to M6, even though M6 is 0 and nothing is there in the M6. Okay, then after that close bracket and click on enter. Yes, now you got the average, that is 30.45. Now you tell me arithmetically what is the formula for average? What is the formula for average?
Sum of observations by number of observations.
Yes, great. So our sum of observations is 335. We calculated it, right? Now, how many are there observations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. 11 observations are there. So, 335 by
11.
11. 30.4545. So I got the right results here. Now it's the blank cell. So can I keep the 0 over there? Can I keep it 0 instead of keeping it blank? Is that going to make any difference for me? Either in sum or average? You got my question? For both and sum and average, we selected the same range, that is B6 to M6, and M6 being nothing inside it. Can I keep the 0?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then remember these values 335 and 30.4545. If I keep 0 here, what happened? Is that 335 changed?
Only,
No. Because
no.
that value plus 0 also 0, same 335 only. But previously our average is
Average
35.45.
changed.
Why it has changed?
Because number has been increased, sir.
Number of increased. Number of observations increased.
Yes. So sum of observations is not increasing. Even though 0 is there, 0 is also one observation. So while writing average function, make sure that if you don't want that has to be counted as a one of the observation, you have to keep it blank. Even you should not keep the 0 also if you want to calculate the average. To explain you this one, I just purposefully kept it blank. You got my answer? I mean, what I mean to say, you got that point? 0 is also an observation. It will be counted as one observation. For some, it may not show you the difference. For minimum and maximum, it may not give you the difference. But for average but for count, it will show you the difference. Okay. So now we know how to write the function for average. Okay. I'll just copy it down till this way. Now, as we know how to reduce the decimals here, I am getting 4 decimals. How to keep the uniform decimals? I want to keep it to only 2 decimals. How we can format it? To bring it to 2 decimals, select the area, we know number formatting, and here these two are for increasing and decreasing decimals. So decrease decimals to 2. Now everything has become 2 decimal points. You are forgetting because you are not doing practice. We discussed it even on the practicals day also. As I asked you to keep it in currency format and make it as 2 decimals. Okay. So now we know our first function in Excel, that is sum, and then we know average. Now can anyone say how to write this function? Minimum. It means I want to see what is the lowest value in this 12. What is the lowest value in this row? I want to find out who got the lowest scores. And what is the lowest score? I want to find out what is the lowest score. So anyone else who helped me for average apart from that guy, anyone else can help me out to write
Is
this
equals
formula?
to minimum. Equals to minimum.
Minimum.
Equal to
Equals to min.
minimum. So Excel, we have the function min, not the
Min.
minimum. You need not write complete minimum, min function name. And then
The first cell and the last.
yeah. So min bracket open, then we need to
Drag this one.
select the area. Then bracket close, enter. So now we know what is the lowest value in this particular area, right? Similarly, very much similar, max equal to max, max, that's it. Maximum of same. So syntax remains same for all these functions. I'm just dragging it. Then count. Count means it has to count and give you how many are there. So how many observations are there? We counted it previously manually. How many are there here in the first row? 11, right? Because we divided manually that 335 by 11. So here I have to get the same result. Then what is the function to be used?
Is equals to count. Is equal.
Equals to count. Bracket open. Then select the same area, including that space I am selecting. Select the same area and click enter. So 11. And if you keep here 0, count will become 12. Because of this, your average is also changing. Okay? So count. Now, so count here 11, it has come fairly well. But, okay. Here also 11 are there, headings, right? This colored one, I will color it. Here also how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that count function, can we use to count only the numbers or even the values? Here also can we use that count function? Shall we see? I am writing the function here, equal to count, bracket open, then I am selecting the all these cells, then bracket close. What happened? It is coming as 0. So here I want you to observe one thing very carefully. What is the sum of the first row values? 335, right? What is the average? 30.45. Mean, max, count, and everything. When you select the same area, I'm not writing any function, I'm just selecting the values here. Can you able to see here at the status toolbar bottom? Can you able to see here sum, count and average? Can you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Count is coming, right? 11. And average is coming, sum is coming. And how we can add, how we can customize for other values? Simply right click on the status toolbar if you want minimum and maximum. That also you can add it here. So now you can see average, count, mean, max and sum, all the values here. Only to view means you can see it here. You need not to write a function over there. You can see it here. So my focus is here. Are you getting the count correctly? Are you getting the count correctly? 11 values only, right? If I keep it 0 and if I select the area, it will give me 12. So it is giving me the correct results only, right? It is giving me the correct results only. And when I select here these values, am I getting the sum here? Sum, minimum, maximum and all those things? Can you able to see anything here on the status toolbar? Nothing, right?
No, sir.
But you can able to see the count. Total is 15. And we counted it manually, it's 15,
No.
correct. Yes, you want to say something? So when you are selecting the values, you are getting the count. And same thing applies to when you are selecting the numbers, you are getting the count correctly. But the same count formula, if you use it here, we are not getting the count. Why? Here we use the count formula and we are getting the results. Here we use the same count formula and we are not getting the results. But on the status toolbar, it is automatically calculating and it is showing you the count in both the situations. Why? If anyone is having fair enough knowledge in Excel functions, he can say, he or she. Why we are not getting the values over here? I mean count. That is, we should get the number 15, right? But we are getting it as a 0. Right. So count function will work only whenever you are applying it only on numbers. But to get the same results whenever you are having something like text inside the cell. If you are having some text, the function you should use is after count, just keep A. The function name is count A. Then click enter. Are we getting the value? Count of those values 15, that is. You got my point? So count function will work only on numbers. If something inside that range, if some cell is containing text, you should use the function. Instead of count, you should use count A. Okay? Hope you got it. Then in this area we counted. So for the sake of count, we selected B6 to M6, but in M6 it doesn't contain anything. So how should I know on how many days no classes are there? So I want to find out how many blanks are there in this particular row. How many blanks are there in this particular row? So how to do that one? The function is same like count only, but count blank. The function name is count blank. Bracket open and select the same area. Bracket close, click and enter. So how many blank cells are there in this particular row? Only one. When you drag it, you can able to see how many blank rows are there in each cell. For example, if I delete it, this cell also, values. So now we are getting empty cells as 2. So like that, with the same function, count function, if we add a, you can use it for text values as well. And if we add empty, you can find out the blank cells in the same data set. So what are the functions we learned so far? We learned sum, we learned average, we learned minimum, we learned max, we learned count, we learned count A, we learned count if. How many functions we learned in today's class? How to see how many? Select and you can see it at the status toolbar. So 7 functions. We learned so far 7 functions in this class. Any doubt in these 7 functions? Any doubt? No, right? Good.
No,
Once
sir.
yeah, thank you. Once you start using it practically, then you will get doubts. But for the timing, there are no doubts, right? Now, Omeshwar will ask me that, sir, how many functions are there like this in Excel? There are more than 1,000 functions. It's not a predefined number. More than 1,000 functions. And Microsoft is adding new functions day on day. So a lot of new functions are coming, and within 3 more days, 1 more new function is going to come. So all that new functions will work only in latest Microsoft Office 365 version only, and previous versions may not support that functions. Okay, that is first thing. Then, as I said, there are more than 1,000 functions. So one intelligent guy will ask me that, sir, how can I remember all those functions? And how can I remember the syntax of each and every function? How can I remember syntax of each and every function? This is not count if, count blank, what we learned is. So I know only sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, count A, count blank. But what if I want to get something else, but I don't know what function to be used, and I can't remember that function name as well, because as you said, there are more than 1,000 functions. I can't remember. So is there any solution for that one? Yes. Inside Excel, there is one provision that you can search for the required function. So I am going to show you up that one here. It means the trick I am going to show you right now is you can use any function inside Excel in those 1,000 plus functions, you can use any function without knowing it before, without remembering it for the situation. If you don't know anything about that function, particular function, if you haven't heard about that function name also, but still you can able to use that function, and for the situation you can able to find out that function. That is available inside Excel only. So are you ready to see that one?
Yes, sir.
So any guess?
Under formulas, we may separations or financial functions, mathematical functions.
Yeah, here formulas, if you go here, you can see different one. But depends on the situation, you can't search it, which will suit you, right? Here, you can see all the function names, different function names are there. For financial, you will have all these functions. And for logical conditions, you have these kind of functions. For text, you have these kind of functions. For date, for lookup, for maths and trigonometry, and for general functions, more statistical, engineering functions. So if you are having statistics as a part of things, all these things, statistics functions, you can use. And for engineering students, they can use this. For cube, for information, for compatibility, for web also you have few functions. So you have different functions, but how to find out which function will suit for your situation, for your requirement? I think by voice, is that Tanmay, right? Who told this point in formulas? Who is that guy who told me this? It's there in formulas. What's the name of that guy? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pomeshwar, sir.
Umeshwar. Okay. Right. Thank you. Right. So it's a very simple, very simple one, straightforward one. We are going to see the simple. Can you able to see here FX?
Yes, sir.
Click on that FX. A new window has come here, right? Here you type whatever you want. It means depends upon the situation. Let's say you don't know how to calculate the average. How to calculate the average. So now type in your own language. Calculate average. Calculate average. Then click on go. Click on go. So it is showing you one function, that is forecast, values and all these things. So you can see what this function will do, but this is not what the function what you are using it. So in that case, what you can do, try with a different wording, the same thing, try with a different wording. So what wording I can try here? I want to calculate average of different numbers. It's like a Google search till you get that best suitable one. Try with, and average, I think I am writing the spelling wrongly, so average of different numbers. Click on go. So please rephrase your question, it is saying that. So I'll type simply average. I'm not writing here anything, average. Click on go. Then see here how many functions has come with the name average. You have the average A, average ifs, D average, and this is the average deviation, covariance, different functions are there which are related to average. Now same Omeshwar will ask me that, sir, so lot of functions are there. So out of this one, which function I have to select? Either I have to go with average or average A or average if. So the simple answer is, whenever you are selecting any function, see here at the bottom the description is coming. At the bottom, what this function will do, description is coming. So if you select average, so description is saying that returns the average arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers, names, arrays, or references. Still after reading this, it's not clear for you. Still after reading this, it's not clear for you. Then simply click on help on this function. Help on this function. So when you click on help on this function, see, Microsoft has given help for each and every function in detail. So here it is explaining you average function, how to use average, what is the syntax of average function. Then it will give you not only syntax and formula, it will also give you one example. So here you see example. This is the data and how to calculate average. Average of A2 to A6. So it will do average of the number cell A through to A6. Result is 11. So like a layman, it is giving you example and everything. If you read this one, you will get complete clarity on that function. So like this, if you don't know anything about any function, whatever is required for that particular situation, still you can get it. Suddenly, okay. So I said count A. I don't know how to count the text values. So I will search it. Count text values. Count text values. Click and go. So it is saying that so you select here instead of recommended or mostly used, select all. So then count of text values. Count text values or count of text. So it is again going back to recommended, that is the default settings. So here you can see all the counts. So if you go down, so you need to see one by one. And still if you are not getting your desired results, after selecting all, if you are not getting your desired results, what you need to say, you need to just reframe your question in a different way. So simply I will go with count. Then I got the values of count, count A, count blank, count if, count ifs, and so many. Then I will go with count A. What is this one? It is saying that counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. It means let it contain the text or anything else. But it will, if cell contains something, I am going to count that particular cell as 1. Count blank. What it is saying? Counts the number of empty cells in a specified range of cells. So like this, we can make use of the inbuilt tool in Excel, that is fx, to search for our desired function based on the scenario, and then we can see the example. You can see what it is, and then you can see the example here. If you are not clear still, then you can work on that particular function. Okay, like this, you need not to remember all these 1000+ functions, but you can make use of any function whatever you want. Is that clear? And
Yes, sir.
yes, thank you. And there are some as we are living in the era of artificial intelligence, For the last 4 to 5 months, in the news, almost every day you can see something about artificial intelligence, right? So based on the artificial intelligence, there are some external add-ins that can be added with Excel, like this show formula board. This is also one extra add-in I added to my Excel, which is the external one. So all these can be added, but how to add all these add-ins and where I can search for that add-ins, how we can add that, I'll show it later. But for the timing, I'll just open up this one, show formula board. Okay, it is asking me to update. I'll just update it. Then click on formula board. So here it is giving me two options. I want to generate formula, or I want to explain that particular formula which is there already in the sheet. So now I want to generate formula. Now you explain the situation, what you want to do, like a layman language. I want to get arithmetical mean. So you can say mean of the values from A6, cell A6 through M6. I want to get the mean of the values from A6 to M6, whatever, my own language I am writing it here. Okay, then click submit. Come down. Request failed. Try again. If issue persists, and log out and try again. Okay. As it is getting updated, I think it's just showing me in a different way. So I'll just write it in a different way. Where we want the average from M6, A6 to M6. That the values are correct, right? B6 to M6, not A. And we'll calculate here directly n. So I'll frame the question in a different way here. I want mean of the values values from B6, not A6, that is B6. I'll write like this, cell B6 to cell M6, and write the formula in N6. Write the formula in N6. Click submit. We'll see if it's got updated or not. Because when I clicked on update, it will get updated in the back end. So it might getting updated. That's the reason it's slowly processing the request. But you will get it. For sure you will get the results, because we are using it on regular basis. To my employees, I have given this add-in. So whenever they are getting any doubts, what formula to be used, how to use that formula, they will make use of this add-in. And how many of you know about ChatGPT? Just raise your hands. ChatGPT. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 8 people, 9 people only. Very few. 9 or 10 out of 200 people. I'll show you right now how to get that function in ChatGPT. Open ChatGPT, chat.openai.com, and write the same thing here. I want excel function to calculate mean for the cells or for the values in cell B6 to cell M6. Okay, simply click on enter. You got the formula or not? Average B6 to M6. Simply copy this. You can click on this copy and go and paste it wherever you want. Equal to, paste that function. Of course, equal to also has come. So you need not to write equal to, click enter. Boom, that's it. You got the average. So it's getting updated. Tomorrow I'll show you this add-in. But you can use ChatGPT to get any function inside the Excel. But it will work only till 2021. Recent functions ChatGPT may not help you, but Bard may help you. How many of you know Bard? Bard? Again 3 to 4 people. Guys, it's not fair. You have to be with the world. World is running so fast. Okay, anyways, as most of the people don't know about the artificial intelligence and how to use it, that Chat GPT or Bard, in next class or after that, once we are done with Excel, I'll show you how to use that artificial intelligence perfectly for our purposes. Okay, because I want you to run along with the world. I don't want you to be behind. Someone is asking count A. Still you have the doubt, Nikhil, for count A? Okay. You are saying something in chat? No, right? Okay. So now I showed you how to use ChatGPT. I showed you how to use artificial inside here. Whatever the technology available inside the Excel. So how you can use FX to get any function and use it. And I showed you how to use the ChatGPT for getting these things. If you don't know much about ChatGPT, no problem. I am going to explain you once we are done with Excel. Okay. So for the time being, what are the different functions we learned? These are the 7 functions we learned, and we learned about FX, how to use FX, and then we learned how to get the code from our function from ChatGPT. Important thing, because I want to, in previous batches I never got the chance to show it using AI, but this is the first batch because AI is there available for everyone. So this is the first batch. I am showing you how you can use AI for getting your Excel results. Okay, and you can write any complex formulas also using AI. I'll try to show you all these 7 here within next 2 minutes how you can get the results from ChatGPT. So what I'll write directly, I'll ask the ChatGPT, what is the function, what is the Excel function to calculate sum of values, So I'll just copy this one because I'll change it afterwards. So sum of values, just click on enter. So what is the function name? Sum. Then same, I am just asking the ChatGPT again, instead of sum, now I want average. So Excel function calculated the values for average. What is the function for average? average of B6 to M6. Then what we did, count or max. So yes, we got the formula for max. Then we don't know anything before this class about these functions. Now we know how to write. If you won't remember also, you can make use of ChatGPT, and this is absolutely free. So for minimum values, what is the function? Min. And then for count, what is the function? Count or count A. So see how beautifully we are getting all these things. So like that, now you know how to use all these basic functions directly inside Excel. If you won't remember, now you know how to use ChatGPT to get the function syntax and copy paste here to get the results. And if you don't know ChatGPT as well, tomorrow I am going to show how you can add this kind of add-ins to your Excel, to your system, and how you can get the results from this. This is also like a chatbot. Okay, how you can get the results from this chatbot as well. Tomorrow I am going to show you. Is that clear? Is that clear?